students. Class 7 students. Today we have started chapter number 1, heating and cooking, and today we will discuss the topic transfer of heat. Okay, and it is given on page number 5. Okay, you can see this is your topic, transfer of heat. Okay, so I will explain you okay, how heat can transfer from one place to another. Okay, so our topic is transfer of heat. As I told you, transfer of heat. As I told you, that heat actually tells us about the energy, that how much energy is present in that object, how much heat energy is present in that object. Okay, so today we will discuss how heat can transfer from one object to another. Okay, so the transformation of heat, it consists of 3 ways. Okay, it consists of 3 ways. First is called conduction. Second is called convection. And the third is called radiation. Okay. So there are 3 ways in which heat can transfer, and these 3 ways are conduction, convection, and radiation. Now I will explain you how conduction is happened. Okay. So before starting the first step, conduction, keep in your mind that conduction is happened only in solids. It is happened only in solids. Okay. So this is an important point, that conduction is happened only in solids. Okay. Now we will discuss what is a conduction. If you see your book, okay, first paragraph, second last line, the movement of heat through a solid such as a metal is called conduction. Please underline it for your definition. This is the definition of conduction. First paragraph, page number 5, second last line. The movement of heat through a solid such as a metal is called conduction. Okay, so the movement of heat through solid is a definition. The movement of heat through solid, and that solid can be metal, is called conduction. Okay, is called conduction. The movement of heat through solid, for example metal, is called conduction. Now we will discuss how conduction is happened. There is an example is given in your book. If you see your book, there is a picture is given. Okay, you can see there is a chef and it is making hot soup, and he has put a steel spoon inside the hot soup. Okay, so what will be happen? We all of know steel spoon is made by metal. Okay, so when we put the steel spoon into a hot soup bowl, what will be happen? We can stir the soup, but we cannot stir the soup for a long time. Why we cannot do this process long time? Because steel spoon, it is a steel spoon, so due to because soup is very hot, so the other end of the steel spoon should be heated. So we cannot hold that spoon inside in our hands. Okay, so you all of know, and we also have seen at our homes that all spoons are made, the handles of all spoons are made by plastic or wood. So why they are made by plastic or wood? Because plastic and wood both are insulators. They do not allow heat to pass through it. Okay, so an example is given in your book. Heat can travel through solids. Okay, so if you Ever try stirring hot soup in a saucepan? With a metal spoon, heat energy flows quickly from the soup through the spoon to your fingers. So which soon being to get hot. Okay, so it is a good example of conduction. If you put a steel spoon in a bowl, in a hot soup bowl, so due to hotness of soup, the other end of spoon should be heated. Is that clear? Okay, so keep in your mind, conduction is happen only in solids, but heat can transfer in solids. This is a truth that heat can transfer in solids. Okay, so after conduction, we will discuss that because we have discussed in the definition the movement of heat through solid, for example, metal. Okay, what is given? Metal. So first I will discuss about the metal. So what are metals? Metals are those substances which can conduct heat, okay, in which heat can pass through. So metals are divided into two parts, okay. One is called conductors and other is called insulators. One is called conductors and other is called insulators. So what is the difference between two? You all of know in your junior classes, what is the difference between two? Conductors. Conductors are those substances which allow heat to pass through them. Okay, so what is the function of conductors? Allow heat to pass through. To pass through. To pass through the object. And what are insulators? Insulators are non-metals, okay, and they do not allow heat. Do not allow heat to pass through the object. Pass through the object. Okay. So this is the big difference between metals and non-metals. All metals are conductors and all non-metals are called insulators. Now we will discuss the examples of conductors. So the best example of conductors are copper. So best example is copper. Okay. And if you see your book, side box is given. Did you know? Copper is the best conductor of heat. It conducts heat 10 times better than iron. Okay, you have to underline in your box. What is the importance of copper? Copper is the best conductor of heat. It conducts heat 10 times better than air. Okay, so conductors are those which allow heat to pass through the object. For example, copper. Okay. So there is an example is given in your book, cooking utensils. Another example is given in your book, cooking utensils. We all of know we cook food at our home in cooking utensils, and all cooking utensils, the base of the cooking utensils is made by steel or iron. So why it is made by steel? Because the heat let pass through it and we can cook food easily. Okay, so two examples are given in your book, conductors. First is given copper. Copper is the best conductor of heat. And the second example is given cooking utensils. And we all use at our home in our everyday life. Now we come to insulators. What are insulators? Insulators, other name of insulators are non-metals. Non-metals. So what are insulators? They are do not allow heat to pass through it. Okay. So for example, the first example is very common, air. Air is a good insulator. Okay. Air is a good insulator. It is a good example of insulator. Okay, and poor conductors of heat are called insulator. Other definition we can write: poor conductors of heat are called insulators. Okay, so there are two definitions which we can write. This is written in your book. Poor conductors of heat are called insulators. For example, air is a good insulator. Okay, because air does not allow heat to pass through it, and we all know when air is passed, okay, when air is blowing, we feel comfort. The heat energy, feel less heat energy in our environment. Okay, so there is an example of air. Air is a good insulator of heat. Okay, now there are other examples are given. Insulation, insulators. Other examples are given in your book. First is given fur, feathers, wool, plastic foam, glass or mineral wool, glass or mineral wool. Okay, so other examples of insulators are given in your book: fur, okay, feathers, wool. We all know all birds have feathers. Okay, so why do they need feather? Because they trap air inside their feathers, and because of them they can fly in the air easily. Okay, wool, plastic foam, glass, and mineral wool. So these are other examples of insulators. Okay, I think I hope you understand this theory. What is this? We are discussing transfer of heat, and I have told you there are three steps in which heat can transfer. First step we are discussing, that is conduction. Keep in your mind, conduction is happen only in solids. Okay, and the movement of heat through solid, for example metal, is called conduction. Okay, so I have told you metal can be divided into two types: metals and non-metals, and other names are conductors and insulators. Conductors which allow heat to pass through the object, for example copper and cooking utensils. Insulators do not allow heat to pass through the object, for example air. Okay, and I gave you other example: fur, feathers, wool, plastic foam, glass, and mineral wool. Okay, I hope you understand it. Now we will discuss about conduction and the kinetic theory. What is the relationship of conduction and kinetic theory? So the other topic is, we are just discussing conduction. So in conduction, we discussed what is the relationship of conduction and kinetic theory. I have told you yesterday in my previous lecture that kinetic theory is that the movement of particles. We all know that matter consists of three states of matter: solid, liquid, and gases. Okay, so the movement of particles in all three states of matter is called conduction. Okay, so now we will discuss that what is the movement of particles in all three states of matter is called kinetic theory. Okay, so now we will discuss what is the relationship of kinetic theory with conduction. Okay, to understand this concept, I will give you an example. Okay. You can see this is a metal bar. Okay, what is this? This is a metal bar. So the first condition of conduction is done. That I said conduction is happened only in solid. So what is a metal bar? It is a solid. And definitely you all of know okay, how the molecules are present inside the solid. They are in the form of layers. Okay, and they are fixed in a fixed shape. So when we began to heat up the one end of a steel bar, what will be happen? Heat will be transferred from this layer to this layer, then this layer to this layer, then this layer to this layer, then this layer to this layer. So then this layer to this layer, then this layer to this layer, and then this layer to this layer, and then end. Okay. So what is this? What is the meaning of these layers? Okay. So these layers, when this end will begin to heat up, okay, so what will be happen? It will be heated, so it will hit the next layer, okay, then it will be hit the next layer, then to the next layer, then to the next layer, and what will be happen? We will start heat from this end, okay, we will start heat from this end. And what will be happen after some time? The other end of the bar should be heated. So it is a good example of conduction and kinetic theory. It means this example tells us that the particles do not move. Actually, they transfer the heat from one layer to another layer, from one layer to another layer, from this layer to next layer, then this layer to next layer. So slowly and gradually, the whole bar will be heated. I think you understand it. Okay, there is a close relationship between conduction and kinetic theory. Kinetic theory means the movement of particles. So in this diagram, you can understand that particles are not moving. Actually, the heat is going to be transferred from one layer to the next, from one layer to the next, to the other layer, the next layer, and slowly the other end will be heated. Okay. So this example tells us about the relationship between conduction and kinetic theory. I hope you understand it. Now come to did you know box? Okay, second point. When heat energy travels by conduction, the energy is passed from one atom to the next. It is the heat that flows, not the heated atoms. Okay. So what is happening here? Only the heat is going to be transferred. Actually, the atoms are not changing their position. What is happening? Actually, the heat is going to be transferred from one atom to another atom. Actually, these atoms are not changing their position. I hope you understand it. Okay. Now come to the next page, page number 6. This is a next topic, that is convection. What is a convection? This is a second step of transfer of heat. Convection. First, keep in your mind, convection is happened only in liquids and gases. Liquids and gases. It does not happen in solids. What is the difference between conduction and convection? I told you conduction is happened only in solids. Only in solids. But what is the difference between two? Convection is happened in liquids and gases. And we also know this thing, in liquids, the molecules, the shape of molecules is different. They have some distance with each other. Okay, and if we take an example of gases, so the molecules are very far away to each other. Okay, so these are the shape of atoms in liquids and gases. Okay, so first of all, we will discuss the definition of convection. What is a convection? What is a convection? Okay, बेटे. So underline the liquids and gases may be poor conductors of heat, but they can carry heat because their particles are free to move. Yes, we know this thing that liquids and gases are poor conductors of heat. But what is happened because their molecules can move freely, so they can pass heat. So convection cannot happen in solids. Okay. So the particles held in a framework and cannot move around as they do in liquids and gases. So actually the definition, what is a definition? I will, you can understand this concept with the help of this diagram. Okay. Please see on your book. It's a page number 6 and this diagram is given electric kettle. I think you can see. Okay, bete. So see this diagram on your book, electric kettle. So actually what is happening? When you put water in the electric kettle, what is happened? The element which is responsible to conduct heat, it begins to warm the water. Okay. So the water which will be warm, it will be warm and rises up. Okay. So it rises up the walls of the kettle. And the cold water, and keep in your mind that cold water is denser than warm water. Warm water is lighter than cold water. Okay, so what will be happen? Definitely, when we warm up the electric kettle, you can also see heated water moves in this direction. Okay, you can see heated water will move, rises up. Red arrows are showing it will be rises up. Okay, and blue arrows are showing cold water moves in this direction. It will be settled under the kettle. Okay. So electric kettle is a good example of convection. So keep in your mind, cold water is denser than hot water. So when we will warm the water, so when it will be heated, it will be rises up. It will be go in the air. There is another example which is given in your book. If we take an example of land and if we take an example of land and mountains. So this part is showing land and this is showing sea. So we can see that when the land is warm due to sun, so what will be happen? The evaporation will be rises. Okay, so the air will be lighter. So it will the process will be very fast. So the process will be very fast. But when this air touches to the sea, it will be cold, so its process will be slow. Okay, so this cycle tells us about the convection. So how convection is happen? When the air touches the land and due to sun heat energy, so it will be rises very fastly because we all know that hot air rises in the environment quickly as compared to sea. Okay, so this whole cycle tells us about the convection. Now there is another example which is given in your book. When you heat your rooms in winter, so what is happened? Definitely room is cold. There is a cold and dense air present in the room. So when we began to start heater over there to warm the room, so what will be happen? As the warm air began to warm, so it began to rise up. So what will be happen? Cold air will be out from the room and the warm air will replace it. So we will feel after some time the room becomes very hot, the room becomes warm. Okay, so there is another example. So I have given you three examples. First, I told you the shape of the molecules. Second, I have given you an example of land and sea, and I have given you an example of electric kettle. And the third example, I have given you a warm room. When we warm our room with heaters. Okay. Now there is another thing which is called convection current. What is a convection current? Convection current. This term is very simple. How convection current is happened? So when we warm water in the electric kettle, what is happened? First of all, it will begin to warm and it will settle along the walls of the kettle. But then we start continuous heating. So what will be happen? The continuous heating produce a stream. So the continuous streaming is called convection current. Its definition is given in your book. Cold water replaces the second paragraph. Look at your book. Cold water replaces the rising warm water, and this in turn also becomes warm and rises. A continuous circulating stream is set up in the kettle. A continuous circular stream made a convection current. For example, what is example? For example, electric kettle. Okay, so what is example? Example is electric kettle. So when we warm the water in electric kettle, so the continuous circulating steam which is produced inside the kettle, that is called convection current. Okay, so I think to understand all these parts, I have discussed second step of transfer of heat, that heat can be transferred in second way, and that is a convection. Convection is happened on the liquids and gases. Okay, and you all know cold water is denser than hot water. So first, when we heat up the water in the electric kettle, so cold water will be, when it will be warm, it will be rises up. Okay, and when the continuous circular steam is produced inside the kettle, so it will be called a convection current. Okay, then I have given you another example of land and sea. When the warm water, when the air touches to the land and due to sun's heat energy, it goes into the air, so it is much warm. So it is lighter. But when this air touches to the sea, definitely sea is cold, so it becomes denser. So the movement of air from land is much higher as compared to the sea air. Okay, sea breeze. Okay, and the third example I have given you about the heater. Okay, when we warm our rooms with a heater, so our room is filled with a dense air. So when we warm the room, so the cold air will be so warm air replaces the cold air, and due to warm air, the whole room becomes hot. Now the third type which is left, we will discuss about radiation. What is a radiation? This is a third step, radiation. This is another way of transfer of heat. And the third step is radiation. What is radiation? This is another way of transfer of heat from one object to another. Okay, so take out page number 7 of your book. Okay, bete, take out page number 7. You can also see on the screen page number 7, and please observe this diagram which is given in your book. It is a microwave oven. Okay, so what is happened when we cook food under a grill? Heat must travel downwards from the heating element in the grill to the food. This heat cannot be carried by convection because convection carries out air upwards. Answer is very simple. In convection, we have discussed that when there is a warm air, it will be heated and go up. But it is the opposite. Radiation is opposite. When we put something into a oven, microwave oven, so we all of know that there is a heating element is attached on the ceiling and along with the walls. Okay. So when we heat something under a grill in a microwave oven, so the heating element produce heat towards the food. It produce heat towards the food. Okay. This heat does not rises up. As we discussed in convection, when the heat is produced in the water, okay, so what will be happen? The warm air will be rises up. But here it will not rise up, it will be downward. But what will be happen? Air travels downwards. This idea is opposite of the convection. In convection, we have discussed that air travels upwards. Okay. But what is happening in the radiation? Air travels downwards. So an example is given to us. And what is an example? When we warm something in microwave oven. So the heating element which is attached in the microwave oven, it does not rise up. Actually, its heat travels downwards. So what will be happen? So travel downwards from the heating element in the grill to the food. Okay. So the heat cannot be conducted to the food because air is a bad conductor of heat. Definitely it is going to downwards. So there is air is already present over there, and we also know in we discussed that air is a bad good insulator. It is a bad conductor of heat. So due to that, the food is cooked in the microwave oven. Okay, due to that heat which is radiated by the food. Okay, so the food radiated the heat from the heating element in the microwave oven. Okay, so this process is called radiation. There must be another way of moving heat to the food. This is called radiation. Okay, so in radiation, how heat is traveled? The heat travels as tiny electromagnetic waves called infrared rays. Okay, infrared rays. Because we are talking about the microwave oven, okay, and we discussed that the heat travels from the heating element to downwards. So how it travels to downward? It travels to downward due to electromagnetic waves, which are called infrared waves. The hotter an object is, the more infrared radiation to emits. So no particles are involved, unlike in the process of conduction and convection. So radiation can even work through the vacuum of space because there is no element is involved. So radiation can be happen. It can be happen. It can be happen in vacuum. So radiation can be happen in vacuum. Okay. Now come to the next point. There is an example is given. This is why we can say we can still feel the heat of the sun, although it is 150 million kilometers away from the earth. So which example we can discuss? Heat of the sun. For example, heat of the sun. It is an example. Definitely, we all of know on Earth, sun is the biggest source of energy and it is the warmest body in the environment. So when it warms, its heat should be go to up, but its heat comes to the earth. The heat of the sun travels downwards. So this process is called radiation. Actually, they are radiated the energy, the heat energy. So that's why we can feel heat energy on Earth. But except this thing that sun is 150 million kilometer away from us. Okay, so how much distance is sun from the Earth? It is 150 million kilometer away from Earth. So I hope to understand the today's lecture. Okay, our lecture has been ended. We have discussed it, page number 7. Inshallah, we will start next topic, emitters and absorbers in next lecture. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.